Welcome back. Let's start with the business day this morning. It says light bills to come down, the story on the front page, and election fever raises prices of goods. Two stories captured by the business day. The Finder talks about the NDC's manifesto and says NDC's loud promises, how will they be funded in a broke economy? That's the Finder. The Ghanaian Times says manifesto not mere promises, it's best document for development. That's according to President Mahama. And Veep dams Bawumia, he's churning out lots of lies. The Daily Statesman says choices over use of Ghana's money. NDC 5 million Ghana cedis for constituency vote buying. NPP's $1 million for constituency development. And then what is becoming cliche here, one venue, one response to Bawumia's lecture, Ms. Hatta declares. The General Telegraph, every district to get Office of Attorney General to decentralize the administration of justice and fight corruption, comes with a photograph of the employment minister. And then Ghanaian Observer, NDC's Day of Shame, carries Akufo-Addo's coffin at manifesto launch. The Daily Guide says NDC storms Siani with Nana coffin, and the story comes with a photograph of that coffin. The Daily Graphic, NDC manifesto best blueprint to transform lives, President Mahama. We'll take a look at that story also. We'll talk about that later on, Mr. Rollins' absence at the manifesto launch in Siani over the weekend. My guest this morning to help me do the talking to my extreme right is a Deputy Minister of Communications, Felix Kwachu. Felix, good morning. Good morning. And I hope you had a safe return to Accra from Siani. Right. We're grateful for your time in the studio. To my right is the first National Vice Chair of the CPP, Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim. Good morning, too. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Very well. Grateful. And then to my left is the Member of Parliament for Tema East constituency, Daniel Ni Kwate Titus Glover. Good morning. I was in your constituency yesterday. I didn't inform you. Oh, okay. I was around the Titanic Beach. Is that so? That is the west. Okay. Entering into the east. Okay, all right. So you're welcome to town. Okay. Grateful for your time this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start. A lot of the papers this morning are talking about the NDC's manifesto. The General Telegraph talks about it. The Daily Guide does same. The Ghanaian Observer, the Ghanaian Times, Daily Graphic, the Finder, all of them talks about the manifesto launch. Let me start with you, Hajia. Now, there was the highlights, and then the manifesto launch proper took place yesterday. Now, the president says it is the best blueprint to transform Ghana. A quick reaction of what you saw in Siani, the manifesto launch, from the highlights to the launch, as your initial comments.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to my co-panelists. And then I would like to say a very special good morning to my flag bearer, Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, and chairman and leader of the Convention People's Party, Professor Edmond Dele. Bryce, you know, before the launch of the manifesto in Sunyani, we all watched the president highlights the 4 thematic areas that the NDC are going to use to convince Ghanaians to re-elect them. And then Saturday they were in Sunyani. You asked the question that watching them in Sunyani, I can tell you I didn't watch. Oh, okay. Because I was busy with my flag bearer in Kokofu when the Kokofu Hine invited him.
In the Eastern region?
No. In Ashanti region. So where they, but I was listening to the radio. So that I'll be abreast with whatever is being discussed, as if I knew I'll be here this morning. I think the manifesto launch in Sunyani was just like a rally, you know, and then most of the time they took time to respond to what they could do better than the MPP. So it got to a time I was asking myself whether the NDC were really telling us what they can do when they're given the mandate, because it's like we will do this. The MPP said this. You see, I was a bit confused, because you are going to convince the good people of this country why we should give you another mandate. Because if you look at the 4 thematic areas, it's the same repetition of what they promised in 2012. So I was expecting the NDC to say that we promised this in 2012. Roads, we wanted to tackle about 70% of the roads that were not done, and we were able to achieve 50%. So why don't you give us another mandate to finish the 20% on all the sectors that they were highlighting? But it was like the usuals, MPP, NDC, MPP, NDC. So I think, well, they went and then some of them said they chose Sunyani because Sunyani, the Brown Hafo region is a swing region. Anybody getting more votes in Brown Hafo region, there's a likelihood that party could win the election. That was, I think, by their vice chairman, Professor Wampofo. And I said, oh, wow. So you are not just going there to tell the good people of this country. If you are saying Brown Hafo region is a region that can maybe swing the votes into your favor, how sure are you that it's not Upper East this time, or Northern region, or Western region? So I think politicians, if we are talking, we have to be careful the way we try to talk to convince people to vote for us. Because I can say, oh, really? So this is what the NDC are thinking. It's only the Brown Hafo region who can give them the maximum votes for them to win the election. Maybe you have a discerning voter somewhere who maybe because of the way you are saying
the reason for choosing
the transforming lives.
Changing lives,
transforming Ghana. You see, maybe somebody will be carried along with your is it the theme for the manifesto?
Yes,
right. Manifesto. But if you come and tell me that, oh, because this is a swing region, that's why we are launching our manifesto. But in all, what is a manifesto? It's a policy document of a party to maybe tell the good people of the country why they should vote for them. It is left with Ghanaians to answer the NDC whether they are satisfied with their the way NDC is running this country from 2012 to today. Okay. And I think the voters will take that decision. So I think that's my initial
comments. I'm grateful.
And then we will go into the details later.
Right. Felix, also some initial comment before we jump into the details. People are already raising concerns about the fact that your founder wasn't there. And Madam just talked about why Sunyani and several others. Just initial comments on those issues, and then we can jump into the details.
Well, I would have rather wished we jumped into the issue
straight away into
because of your limited time.
Oh, okay.
I do not like
just quick answers to why
first of all, Sunyani is one of the regions in Ghana.
All right.
And every political party does things with a strategy in 4 minutes. So you choose venues such that you are able to spread the activities that you are going to engage in the electionary period, so that every part of the country has a feel of what you have in store for them. So that is one of the considerations that went into Sunyani. Okay. You recall that in 2011, that's where we held our presidential primaries, which resulted in the election of President Ivan Sata Mills. Indeed, President Mahama acknowledged that fact in his speech. So the consideration of Sunyani was based on proper thinking and proper strategy. Regarding who was there and who was not there, again, it is not possible for every member of the party to be at every event. There were several activities spread across the country. I do not know exactly what it is that prevented the former president from coming. But whatever it is, I don't think that it is a result of any uncomfortable reason or any particular difficulty he has with the event. I'm sure that if you media men get to him, we'll be able to offer an explanation why he was not there. But I don't think that his absence detracted in any way from the program that we had. It was a highly successful program, well organized. We stuck to the script and program, and we left Sunyani fully confident that we had convinced the people of this country that ours is the best plan for this country. And anybody wanting to scrutinize the manifesto must first read it to understand what is in there. Because of limitations of time, it was not possible to discuss everything in Sunyani. Even the highlights that the president did, there simply wasn't enough time to go into everything. But if you really want to understand and grasp the plans that we have for this country, I strongly recommend to viewers and the general public to grab a copy of the NDC manifesto and read it. It is online. If you go to johnmama.org, you should be able to download it. As much as possible, we'll make it available to you in the media so you can scrutinize its contents. Right. But if I should delve straight into the issues, which I think is of utmost concern to viewers. First of all, Hajia spoke about we sticking to our record vis-a-vis the promise that we made in 2012, and then providing that or using that as a foundation to tell the people of Ghana what we will do in the future. Indeed, that is precisely what we have done. As far back as December 2015, we launched a book, Accounting to the People, to catalog what we have done vis-a-vis the promises that we made in 2012. Where there are gaps, we made it known. And we have indicated clearly that we will roll over those ones into the next term. And it was on that basis that we sat down to draft a manifesto, which we launched yesterday. Even if you look at our manifesto and read it carefully, you will find that we even begin each, segment or each thematic area by doing a brief recollection of what we have done since 2012 before we delve into what we will do. So Hajia's concerns are well taken care of in various documents, both the Green Book or Accounting to the People and the manifesto itself. I would like to believe that Hajia has not had the opportunity yet to go through the manifesto. Exactly. I'll furnish you with a copy, and you will find that your concerns have been adequately addressed. But our manifesto, as usual, is divided into 4 thematic areas. Now, we believe that our country or our governance should revolve around 4 themes. That is investing in people, which takes care of issues like education, health, social protection, basically the social sector. And then you go to building a resilient economy. And then you go to expanding infrastructure, and then transparent and accountable governance. And at each of these themes, we have organized our manifesto in a very simple, straightforward, readable fashion. That makes it possible for anybody reading it to understand. You don't have to be an expert in any field to understand what we are talking about, because we've broken it down. Now, when you come to putting people first, education, our record is massive. We have said that because of that massive investment that we've made in education, and by every account, what we have done in the last 4 years represents the biggest contribution ever at all levels to education in this country. Now, we are saying that we are going to build upon that. At the basic level, we will do a number of things. First of all, we are going to double the capitation grant. In other words, increase it by 100%. We are going to absorb the examination fees at the basic level, including receipt. You know, we introduced a receipt policy for people at BEC level who do not pass. We are going to absorb the fees there as well. But our biggest focus this time on education will be in TVET, technical vocational education. Because the fact is that even as we complain about unemployment and what we need to do, when you train somebody and give him skills, you have set the person on the path to earning a living for himself. So it is one of the ways that we can address the issue of unemployment, whilst moving away from the typical grammar style school, which does not place emphasis on production and productive work. So what is happening is that the president said that 30% of the community day schools will be converted to technical and vocational training schools, so that those who go there have a focus on technical and vocational education, so that we churn out high caliber personnel who have skills that are relevant to national development. So that is our biggest focus when it comes to TVET. Already there are a number of things that we are doing. There's a program which is costing $124 million that we are using to establish new vocational institutions and refurbish existing ones, so that we push more and more people into that sector to train a core or a cadre of skilled personnel to move our country.
Even before you go on, how would you answer your critics who say that, okay, so in 2012 you promised A, B, C, D and education. Now you haven't been able to fulfill
that is not correct. I don't know the basis upon which they say we haven't fulfilled it.
Okay, so for instance, they raised the 200
yes, but we've explained this at length. Last week when I was here with Honorable Obi Amwa, I gave you the rundown.
Right.
We said we'll do 200. Yes, there have been some challenges. So we are doing 123. Those 123 were started in 2014. All of them cannot be completed at the same time.
Right.
So they get completed one after the other. As I speak to you, there are 30 of them. And if you push me, I can give you the list, the names. I can even give you the pictures. If your producers are willing, let them show it on TV for people to see. That if you go to Kwabinya, if you go to Adenta, Frafraha, you go to Utuboduasi, all of them are there. They are completed or weeks away from completion. By the end of this year, we expect that 70 will be completed. And then in the middle of next year, 123 of them.
So there were challenges. And
of
so
course. But the point is that if you put it in context, and Hajia here would bear with me, that their reference point is Kwame Nkrumah for the CPP. He's their claim to fame. Kwame Nkrumah did 70 secondary schools. In fact, in 2001 to 2008, not a single new secondary school was built in Ghana. We have come in and we are working on 123. So in the history of Ghana, the NDC under President Mama has made the biggest contribution to senior high school in terms of provision of infrastructure. So that is the state of that program. So if you say that we have not worked on the program, it is not accurate.
Would someone be wrong to say that then the old 2016 manifesto should have told Ghanaians about perhaps the challenges
again,
in
we have
some
stated,
of
the president has stated, it is in this our manifesto, that the remaining 77 will be rolled over and the next 4 years will be completed. So that takes care.
You're not envisaging any challenge?
No, that takes care of the shortfall. Of course, as we go along the governance.
At the end of 2016.
But right, put this in context. There was a time when the government came and built 0 secondary schools. Another government building 123. If you do the percentage addition, it is infinite. So if you put it in proper perspective, the 123 secondary schools is a significant, massive contribution to education. The fallout is that tens of thousands of school children who would have had their education truncated at JHS level now have an opportunity to go to school. And when you go to a place like Edujama, on my way to Sunyani, I saw it. That's a multi-faceted building, an ultra-modern building that is enabling 1,400 school children to have access to education in that remote part of our country. So it is important that we put the discussion in context. But it is not something that we are abandoning. We are going to continue.
Okay, Felix, you hold it. We're still on education. Sure. I'll get Titus and Banam to take their submission, and then we'll come back and then we'll talk about economy or if there's anything to clarify on education. Right. Titus, let me come to you. So 4 areas: people, the economy, an accountable, transparent governance, and then infrastructure. These are the areas. Now, the NDC says 2012, we started with this, and we are rolling all these projects that we said we're going to do over into 2016. On the field of education, Felix says the party has done great, and that the discussion should be put in context.
Thank you very much. And good morning to your viewers, particularly those watching from.
Okay, raise your voice a bit for me. I know it's a tired weekend, but
it's like a plane. When the plane wants to take off, it hits the engine.
So you're not taxiing.
So gradually, I will just get up. So, all right. Good morning to all your viewers, like I said, and to my colleagues here. And let me commend TV3 for your entire coverage of the NDC manifesto over the weekend. My prayer is that when the MPP, CPP, PNC, and other political parties are also launching same, the management of TV3 are going to give same coverage to all of us, because we all want a level playing field in all facets of our political administration. I listened to Felix so well, and there are thematic areas. They say, well, resilient, strong and resilient economy.
Right.
Which, on the contrary, it is not so.
But I want us to stay on education.
Please,
now.
I beg you, we are discussing NDC manifesto. We'll come there. He started from somewhere before he landed on education.
Okay.
So respectfully, give me the platform to let me also make my point to say that no, Ghanaians should reject NDC under President Mahama, because this economy is the driver of this country. President Mahama is a bad manager. If you were bequeathed with a growth of 8.4% without oil, and today you are struggling in an oil economy, less than 4%, 3.9%, and you say we should clap and dance Plejo. You know Plejo? That is my festival.
I thought we were going to make an initial comment, okay, and then we start.
We're going straight because we have only 1 hour.
Yes, so you see, that's what I'm saying. Titus,
I don't like some of your style.
Okay,
I will come to education. Felix started talking about other things.
He's raised some issues about education. So I was thinking, make initial comments on the launch, and then let's move to education, and then from there we go to economy. I think I explained that when I was moving from him.
If that you want, I'll do that for you.
I'm grateful.
In a brief, that I come back to the way I started. Okay?
I'm grateful.
Are you okay with that?
Yes, your initial comment.
My initial comment, it is a normal political, show. Cacophony of noise. Show of opulence. At the place. they come in their numbers. That is normal of political parties. Already we've heard the highlights from His Excellency, what he did, and he went to show it off. And it was a continuation of the highlight. You realize sector ministers were coming out to do whatever they were supposed to do. You understand? So they've done what they're supposed to do. But having left Sunyani, the Brong Ahafo itself, where the First Lady is coming from, the DKM people are still crying. You came and show off money all over the place. DKM and those God is laugh, what do you call it? Who had their investment in this small microcredits. They left Sunyani. They never given them assurance. Who is leading this country? So as for the manifesto, it is a guide to all political parties as to how we want to develop this country. And we should take a cue from the National Development Planning Commission as to how we all want, every political party want to develop this country. There's no concept about that.
Right.
So the methodology may differ, but at the end of the day, the corporate Ghana's interest is what we all want. And education, yes. NDP will put up model schools. I remember Edinamang on the way to Takrade.
Edinamang Senior
High School. I love the secondary school because I went to Presec, so I love the secondary school. But that is a normal thing. It is different putting up a nice infrastructure without putting in what you are supposed to add. My younger brother was talking about them going to double the capitation grant. As we speak now, they are still owing capitation grants. They are still owing capitation grant. Government is not showing serious commitment. The capitation grant that was brought under the MPP administration to enhance children into the primary education, they are not paying. Again, feeding grants. Before our kids came on holidays, you remember heads of assisted of senior secondary schools?
Right.
Had a
there
press
is
conference.
some
and there was
concerns about...
Absolutely, about funding. The refusal of government to advance monies to these schools. Food vendors have been chasing them for supply of food to students in the school. Government is not paying. So the fact that you have put up a nice edifice, you put up infrastructure, fair enough. The money, supporting monies, and the teaching aids that will facilitate teaching and learning is another matter. Where are we getting it from? I'm happy saying that the focus now is on technical education, which is good. When you come to Technical Institute, in my constituency, it's over 50 years. Government has abandoned that school. What retooling are you putting into Technical Institute? Because hitherto, Technical Institute have been feeding most of the industries in Tema. We've left it. We want to build new one, fine. But the existing ones that we have, what are we doing about it? My colleague, Honorable Frida Prempe, before we rose for these holidays, there was one vocational training institute in her constituency. He asked questions on that. And I'm happy the employment minister assured her that he will come to visit the school, which he did, the minister did, to follow up. What I'm saying is that the existing one that you have neglected them. Now you're going to put up a fresh ones. It's good we put up fresh ones, but we need to support the existing one we have to make sure they will carry on with the teaching of our children that we have in the schools. Simple chalk. You might think that it is elementary, but we were taught with chalk. I went to Chudase Primary School in 1972, and I'm so proud of that school. Today it has produced a member of parliament. Simple chalk and register. Under President Mama, they struggle. Teachers have to go and make photocopies of registers to come and mark students. So all these talking, that my friends on the other side keep saying, and President Mama has done something that nobody has done in this country. Sometimes I can't phantom when I hear my colleagues, my friends speak in the angle. Then coming back under resilient economy. Right. Are you happy what is happening in this country?
Well, you tell me. I am asking you the question.
You are a journalist. Sometimes you journalists, you must also research. You are bequeathed with an economy of 8.4% without oil. Today, look at how President Mama is struggling. Reckless spending of money. If you are in a resilient economy, do you run away to IMF? You don't. A resilient economy, it means that all your checks and balances, everything is solid. You go to IMF as a big brother with a whip in the hand, dictating the pace how you should run your economy. And you call this a resilient economy? Haven't you heard about the Association of Ghana Industry? AGI? In their quarterly bulletin of the performance of the sectors, how they are struggling? You call this a resilient economy? I disagree. Agriculture is a mainstay of this country.
What about the fact that we're told that in 2017, this economy is likely to see some change?
It's a hoax.
Okay.
President Mama in 2014, 2013, 2014. What kind of headline?
This is not from
headline stories.
The Intelligence Economic Unit, the IMF, all of them seem to suggest 2017, whichever government wins the election, would see an economy that perhaps is in some kind of good shape.
It's about the management typology and the leadership. The management typology of our economy is, and we are the better managers of the economy than the NDC. You remember from 2000 and 2008.
Okay, wrap up from. Let me go to
please. I will land.
Yes, land.
Businesses are chased. Banks are begging to come and take monies to do businesses. Today, go to the bank. They'll tell you the bad loans that they are incurring in their portfolios.
Okay,
so I'm saying that this administration, a vote for NDC under President Mama is a disaster.
We'll stay on the economy, but Hadia will touch education first before I get Felix to come in on the economy, and then the two of you can also react. Hadia, so Felix spoke about the economy, the education, the NDC manifesto, and talks about the NDC's desire to move on from where they have started to look at technical and vocational education.
Yes, when I heard the NDC emphasizing on technical education, I was happy. Why? Because it seems we are churning out students or maybe graduates that the market is not ready for them. So technical education is very, very important. But we ask ourselves, what about the other technical education schools that were in? I went to school in Bolga Secondary School, and we had a technical school in Tamale, technical school in Boko, technical school all over. So I'm asking, like they were
titles was suggesting the ones that are already there.
How have you equipped those schools? You understand? There's nothing wrong with expanding, because you are expanding because you want more people to, or more students to have access. But if you are expanding and then you leave those in existence already to their fate without any help, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right at all, because as I told you, Boko Secondary School is on the right if you are going to Boko, and Boko Technical is on the left. If you go to Tamale Technical, my big brother went to Tamale Technical. But if you go, they are all in a deplorable state. And then you have a government who will tell you that we are going to. I heard one of them talking about the 200 schools. 30 will be technical.
30, I think 30% of it.
And then 32 will be
some centers of excellence for 10.
You see, it is good, because whatever we do as a country, if we don't take care of our younger generations, we are bound to suffer. So if you give quality and good education to the youth, it is good. But you have to do it in such a way that it is not because you want to win political power. Then everywhere you want to put a school there. I've traveled in Volta region. I've seen some of the is it the school that you're talking about?
Right.
Buildings. If you're saying community-based or schools, and then maybe you go and put a school, let me take my constituency, for example, like Kumbungo district, then you put it in maybe in Banayel, and they say it's a community school that people can just walk to the school, then that is not there, because
you're talking about the distance.
Yes, because there's distance. You shouldn't behave as if, when I put it here, then everybody will have access to that school. Are you ready to provide transportation?
For the community around?
For community
the distance between the school and where they live?
Yes, it's a bit far. So technical education is very, very important, because most of the graduates that are coming out from most of the schools don't have jobs, because maybe the industries and what have you are not ready for them, because they don't have the technical know-how. So if we have a situation whereby we have more graduates from the technical institute, that will fuse into our maybe factories, industries, because the CPP believes in industrialization. Because we are seeing without that, the economy cannot move forward. Because if you want your economy to move, and then every day you run to the IMF, World Bank, I want to see a situation whereby Ghana, we will prescribe our own. When they went to Senchi, they said now they are growing a homegrown kind of thing. I don't know where that blueprint is. Are we following that blueprint, or we are not? We are not, because what the IMF and World Bank are telling us to do is what we are doing. I want to see a situation whereby when we sit with the IMF and the World Bank, we should tell them what our people want, but not what they want us to swallow, because that is what is putting us in all these problems. You will see the NDC will say a resilient economy and blah, blah, blah. The people are suffering in this country. You're talking about education. You are going to absorb the fees and
for BEC,
and so on. Look at the fees that students are paying. I learned this time round it to be 700 and something Ghana cedis
for BEC.
For SS. And the government is paying not even half of that amount. So you ask yourself, who is going to pay the rest of the money? So is it really free? Is the government really going to?
So you're talking about the free access?
Yes.
For day students?
Yes.
Okay.
For day students.
Felix will answer those questions.
So I think Felix is saying that maybe because we don't have the details of their manifesto, maybe that's why we are talking. But I think what they have told us publicly, that is what we are going to respond to.
Right.
Because we don't have the opportunity to know the details of the manifesto. So he will be in a position, maybe they can call another press conference and take explain maybe the first theme of your destiny is what?
That's the people, investing in people.
Putting people first. He's talking about health, education, and so on and so on. And so I watched a program on one of the TV stations that we have a cheap compound. People were complaining that anytime they go there, there's no nurse, there's no doctor, there's no this thing. And even if they meet the people, they are asked to go and buy this, buy that, and so on. So the National Health Insurance, the other day I heard their spokesperson saying that they had the best National Health Insurance in Ghana. Even when they went to a conference somewhere, the people were asking how Ghanaians were able to achieve this. That because 90% of the problems of Ghanaians when it comes to health is being taken care of by the health insurance. But I don't see it that way. So if you're talking about putting the people's first, I think education, and health, shelter is more important. And how many people can rent houses in this country? And I want them to talk about even the rents that people are paying. No country, like a student, maybe finishing the University of Ghana or UCC, and then you've started work, and you are asked to pay 2 years advance in order to rent a chamber and hall. It is not done. But meanwhile, those who are building those houses for us to rent here are living abroad, and then they don't even pay 1-2 months rent before they occupy maybe a flat in UK or US. So I think we should look at it holistically. But if you're going to say maybe people's first, and then you don't look at the basic needs of the people. The other day I was talking about this evidence-based thing that His Excellency talked about when he
delivered a State of the Nation address.
And then a lady called Zainabu, some of us felt offended because she had a veil on her. Muslims, we don't wear pigs. Absolutely. And then they said Zainabu, she's wearing pig in the north, somewhere in the Puska district. Only for people to go there and realize that there were only 2 pigs in her pen.
No, I hate to, but I don't do that. It's not correct.
Phyllis, I'll come.
No, it was shown.
Phyllis, hold on.
Phyllis, I'll get you the chance to react because she was wrapping up so that
my brother, please.
But it was not shown. What was shown you was a blatant untruth. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Felix,
Wait. I was on the same program with one of
you finish. I'll let you finish.
I was on the same program with one lady from that place.
I'll let you finish.
Then when the journalist said he went there and he couldn't find the woman.
Okay.
And then the lady said
he found the
thing. And then she said, when you were going to that constituency, you should have found. I said, no, somebody that the president acknowledged on TV.
Okay, so she found the star that keeps the cakes, but she didn't find the woman.
No, the journalist. When he went there, he asked, and then he didn't see the woman.
Okay.
And then they showed him where the woman was. So they took the picture. It was on one of the television. It was shown. So the member of parliament of that area said when the journalist was going, he should have found out from her. She would have been able to locate them. I was on the same program. You know, Felix, you should know me better.
Okay, all right. That's your word against. Madam, you wrap up so that I get Felix to... Felix, you wrap up so that I get Felix.
I speak my mind and then I speak according to what I see or hear.
Yes.
But I don't speculate.
Okay.
Because NDC, MPP. That's why I always, when I come here, Bright, I've been telling you that the problem of this country is that we don't look at issues. When you have NDC and MPP on there, listen, it is not very interesting because this one will blame, NDC will blame MPP and MPP will blame NDC. And I'm not interested in that kind of blame game.
Okay.
What can we do as a nation to move this country forward? I'm saying that when we launch our manifesto, that is going to be led by Ivor Kobna Green Street, the good people of this country will take a decisive decision by rejecting uprooting the NDC and rejecting MPP. That is what I'm saying.
I'm grateful. Hajia Hamdet Ibrahim is the first national vice chair of the CPP. Felix, so a couple of issues were raised here on education before you jump into economy. One, Felix talks about, Titus talks about, Titus Glover talks about the capitation grant, which he says government isn't paying. He says that instead of let me go wrap through all so that all you have all.
Okay, all right.
He talks about the vocational schools that have been neglected. Madam Hajia talks about the SS fees. She said she's unsure exactly how much they are paying.
Again, it's important that we refrain from these extraneous things. I don't know what place pigs or the lack of it have in this one. First of all, it is not true that the woman had just 2 pigs. Maybe somebody went to take a picture to mislead you. Subsequently, that impression was clarified. The woman came out and we saw multiple pics that she was wearing. So it is not true that she had only 2. I think that kind of discussion, with the greatest respect to Hajia, is a bit below the line, that we should not be engaging in that kind of There's no place in this manifesto discussion. The second, first of all, but let me go on and make my point. First of all, this bit about capitation grant, listen, there's never been a time where capitation grant or any other fund has not been in arrears. When the MPP was in power, it was a regular feature. It is a governance difficulty. It has nothing to do with government's willingness or unwillingness to pay capitation grants. Sometimes they are in arrears, but they are paid. He can go through the MPP budget and see the arrears that remain. When we came to power, they owed multiple contractors billions of cedis, which we have cleared in due course. So it is a function of our status as a country, as a developing country. So the fact that some payment is in arrears does not mean that the payment is not made at all. If you go back 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 and check the releases of feeding grants to schools in the northern region and see whether they were never in arrears. I'm not saying that it is an ideal position, but when you come on air and attempt to make it look like it's a new or recent phenomenon, I think that is a bit unfair to the facts.
He suggests attention be paid to existing vocational.
I agree. You see, first of all, the notion that because problems exist, you can't do something new, it's a bit flawed. You can't say that because in one place there's some difficulty with the clinic there, if you go and build a modern teaching hospital, then you've created a problem or that you've not done something right. Again, when I was speaking, I spoke to you about a $125 million development of skills for industries project. It was launched at Ada last year by President Mahama. The intention was to renovate 23 existing technical and vocational institutions and build new ones. So it is not true that we have left existing vocational institutions and we are building new ones. It's important that those of us who speak publicly also listen to the news and follow the facts and know what is happening. This was a public event.
Taken off?
Oh, it has taken off $124 million from the one of our development
So
partners.
which schools have seen?
But I think that I can give you the list
Okay.
subsequently. But it's a project that is ongoing. The drawings were shown. The president launched it. There's something that is ongoing, and they do it all the time. Again, it is true that there are existing schools that may have not received the sort of attention that they deserve. But it doesn't mean that you cannot do schools elsewhere where none existed. It is an ongoing project that will be completed in due course.
Let's talk about the economy now.
First of all, this thing that the MPP see, and Titus has repeated it, that if you go to IMF, it means that they are dictating to you. Under the MPP, they went to IMF twice.
But we won out.
Yes, no. Listen, let me make my point.
I will come to you.
Win ourselves.
I'll come to you.
Felix, please. You see, the MPP dabbles in a lot of false propaganda. There's nothing like winning yourself of IMF. What it is that when you go into a program, the program is not perpetual. For instance, the one that we are in is called an extended credit facility. It lasts for 3 years. So in 2017, you finish the program. When you finish the program has ended until you go for another one. So when you finish a program, you don't say that you've won yourself off the IMF. Ghana has been a member of the IMF since 1957. So we are entitled to any of the facilities that they have to offer as and when we need it. They went to the IMF twice. So this claim that we have gone to the IMF, so we've done something terribly wrong, is completely false.
Is it wrong to also say that if you have a resilient economy, you won't go to IMF?
No, but when you go to IMF, it's for a limited intervention.
Okay.
When they went to the IMF, was it that they were horrible managers of the economy? Is that what he's saying? They went to the IMF 2001, 2004, and subsequently, when President Mills came to power, we went to the IMF 2009. So where is this talk about resilient economy coming from? There's a reason why countries join the IMF, and it's to get support in times of need. The claim also that they were better managers of the economy is not supported by the facts. Last week when I came with Honorable Obiamo, I gave you the figures to back it. You don't pick 1 year's GDP. 2008, they grew 8.4%. Subsequently, we have bettered that. In 2010, without oil, we grew at 8%. In 2011, we grew at 14.4%. 2012, we grew at 8.8%. In 2013, 7.6%. So he cannot isolate just 1 year and claim that on that basis they were better managers of the economy. Indeed, we're all in this country. We knew that this country was not paradise. We had serious economic difficulties. People still complain about rising inflation. People complain about high cost of living. It is something that has been with all governments. But if you want to do proper analysis, you do it over a number of years. So you pick your 8-year tenor and pick our 8-year tenor. Compare the average growth rate. If you do that, theirs was just 5.7%. Ours was 7.3%.
They are 8 years, every year,
exactly.
And divide it
by the number of years. That is how you see.
And you said they made about
5.7%. In spite of all the lofty talk, 5.7%. All the lofty talk, 5.7%. We have done 7.3%. So the facts don't support the claim they make that they are better managers of the economy. If you come to inflation, it's the same thing. They got single-digit inflation for just 1 month. After they launched the inflation targeting regime, 1 month, we got it for 31 months continuous. As I speak to you, inflation is lower than we inherited from the MPP. We have a higher external reserve today than they did. So this claim that we are better managers of the economy is not supported by the facts anyway.
Felix, let me come in. Let's try and explain this to perhaps my view on the street there. So if the NPP left the economy at, let's say, 8% that year, and then the NDC took over, would any person walking on the street be wrong to say that, well, if it was 8 and you have brought it to 3, it means that...
First of all, the question you need to ask is whether or not the economy has ever gone to 8 since we've been in power. And I'm telling you that for 3 continuous years, we topped that.
Okay.
But you see, if you check the economic figures, there were times we were going at 3, 4, 5%. But no economy in this world continues to grow forever. Even China, that for 10 years grew at an average of 7%, has witnessed slowdown in its economy. Check the growth rate of the US economy today, or the UK economy, or any of the advanced economies. They are nowhere near the figures that we achieved in the past. It doesn't mean that our economy is better than theirs. You understand the point I'm making? You rightly pointed out that next year, the projection is that we will grow at 8%. It means that we will go back to high growth. Every country has had that sinusoidal, relationship as far as its economic growth is concerned. But they create the impression that as for them, they always grew and they were never kings. It is not true. The rates at which they grew were lower than the rates at which we have grown. In the last 3 years, we've had difficulties which we have corrected. And that is how come the Economist Intelligence Unit, the World Bank, IMF, and all the other serious, credible international financial organizations are saying that we will grow at 8%, which is in tandem with our own projections. Again, when we went to the IMF did not dictate to us. We took to them our own homegrown policies, things that we were going to do. And they said, okay, we will give you extended credit facility of $900 million. That money is not what we need to fix our economy. It was some support. we raise far more money than we are getting from the IMF. So Titus and his colleagues in the MPP should speak the truth to the people of Ghana and stop this misleading claim they make all the time. Now let's speak about Agric. He spoke about Agric.
Okay, briefly.
Because we don't have, yes. You see, if you check the manifesto from page 44 ongoing, we speak about things that we will do in Agric. Indeed, it is part of what we call the ETLEB, Economic Transformation and Livelihood Empowerment Program. It's our economic blueprint. But ingrained in that is a major policy on agriculture that we intend to use to create what we call a green revolution,
right? Where
we become self-sufficient in the production of staples
and
then create jobs, for instance. And we are serious about this thing. As I speak to you, work has even begun on some of them. If you go to one of the warehouses around the airport area, as I speak to you, there are 540 tractors that are ready to be distributed to farmers across this country. As I speak to you, the president announced that by 2021, we will produce 100,000 metric tons of coffee. And then by 2025, we'll produce 200,000 metric tons of coffee. The target is that we'll produce 30 million seedlings for distribution. As I speak to you, 5 million of these seedlings are being nursed for distribution to farmers. There's another program which involves shrimp production. And we estimate that when we finish that program, and Cabinet is discussing it, we will generate about $200 million annually from shrimp production, and it will create jobs for 76,000 people. We have farming centers that will work to ensure that Agric is given a boost. What they will do is provide Agric extension services, measure the acreages of farmers, and determine the inputs that they need. And when they finish, they offer buyback options so that we guarantee the farmers a ready market. And it's an elaborate program in our manifesto. So when people who have not read the manifesto try to poo-poo it and create the impression that nothing is happening, it's most misleading.
All right.
As I speak, there's a share nut factory at Bupe. There's a share nut factory at Bupe that produces 40,000 tons of share nut annually. We will put 2 more, or 1 in Upper East and Upper West, to ramp up share nut production. Sugar. Currently, Commander Sugar Factory has a capacity to produce 7,000 metric tons of sugar.
When is it resuming operation?
I think October. They'll resume in October. We will take that to 20,000 metric tons to make sure that we are self-sufficient in sugar production and also create jobs. Commander alone is creating 7,000 jobs along the value chain. So you can imagine how many jobs 20,000 metric tons will create. So let people read the manifesto and appreciate and grasp all the things in there, and then they can do a proper critique. Yeah.
Right. We are talking about their 8 years, not conjecturing. What you're doing after 2017. What have you done?
We've grown the economy.
Relax.
Okay.
You asked me to relax.
I'll allow him to go on. Relax. I'll come back to you.
You see, the UNDP recently published a report about incomes from 2013 to 2016 under President Mahama. Income levels, the way people are suffering under his watch, -5%.
You mean income? UNDP's report?
Yes.
Income levels.
Yes. UNDP. Go and check.
How is that possible?
Income levels -5%.
That cannot be supported by the
So what? Your resilient economy, my brother. Your resilient economy. We must reflect it in our pockets. You must reflect it in our pockets. Maybe it is the NDC appointees and the presidents and their friends and families who are enjoying all the good things within the good economy that they are talking about. But go to the average man on the streets and he will tell you whether this is a resilient and a strong economy that we should believe in. You know what? He spoke about agriculture. Anytime I meet Felix, I tell him the investment in agri, there are 2 ministries who are sharing. The main agri ministry and the fisheries and agriculture. Last year, Parliament approved 49 billion cedis to government as budget. Fisheries and agri shared 1.1%. This year, we approved 50 billion. They are sharing between 1.2%, these 2 ministries. And you have this little investment in agri. How do you expect growth? How do you expect growth? This is an industry that employs between 50 to 60% of our population. And now the old men and women, they are aging. We are not making it attractive to make the young guys to go into agriculture. They are all rushing down south, to come and look for menial jobs, white-collar jobs, which are non-existent. So your investment under the Maputo Convention of 10% every government in Africa should expend, you are not spending that. So don't expect to get something good out of it. This year, it's 2.5%. Last year, 0.04%.
That is not true.
0.04% last year, and this year is 2.5%. I'm making my analysis. Why? What is your problem?
My problem is that
I said last year 0.4, and this year is 2.5. So please, relax. You are not making any headway in agriculture.
This issue,
you understand? When I talk 0.4% last year, and 2.0, so I shouldn't make reference to last year.
Was it?
I'm saying that the figure
you speak for me.
It's not true. You
are not speaking for me.
No, you can't speak for yourself.
If you can allow me to,
when the minister was in the finance minister was in the chamber, this year it is 2.5.
Was it revised?
Last year is 0.4.
Was it 0% revised or not?
It's not true.
Titus, was it 0% revised or not?
It was revised to 2.5.
It was revised to 2.5.
So that's the point. So let's move on. It was revised.
You were bequeathed with 7.4%.
Why?
Okay.
MPP 7.4%.
2007, you grew at negative 1.7. Negative 1.7.
Was quiet.
2007.
7.4%. There was investment in
If you can allow him, we'll run.
I need to correct. I need to correct that.
I have corrected that. He said the figure was revised.
Exactly. So why does it
2.5? It is important.
It's not important because it doesn't count anymore.
So your noise, that cacophony of noise that you are doing in agriculture, for me, is a deceit.
They don't have patience to listen to each other.
He said, I listen, Aja. Wallahi, I listened to him.
And you did.
I sat down and I listened to him.
But you
pour out all the things which I have contrary to order. But it's not,
if you can go on for
so
me.
let me flow.
Running out of time.
Thank you, Aja and Felix.
Please go on. Haja will need to come in before we wrap.
Okay.
Okay.
The Fisheries Ministry was given an amount of $53.8 million to revamp the fisheries subsector. As part of this money, the largest concentration of fishing industry is in my constituency.
It's amazed.
I've met the artisanal canoe fishermen and the industrial fishermen, the inshore people, and they will tell you the kind of problems that they are going through. All they are interested is to arrest fishermen on the sea because they are flouting law. I'm against any fisherman who flout. Listen to me, I'm against any fisherman who flouts any fisheries law. They should be taken care of. But what government is supposed to do with regards of this money, which is sitting there, and they are using the money to be holding conferences, traveling allowance, and all that, instead of spending the money, it's not coming. How will you expect fish production to grow?
It talks about a shrimp project.
In this administration, food imports, 1.5 billion under President Mama's NDC administration. They were attacking us that we imported about $500 million of food items. Our time, rice was about between $120 and $150 billion. In their time today, over $300 million. So if we don't spend the money to revamp the sector, to boost employment, to bring production up, and we'll come and sit here and want to paint the picture as if your mama is the one of the best presidents we have. I disagree.
You disagree?
Strongly disagree.
Let me bring Hadia.
They are deceiving us.
Okay, I'm grateful. Hadia.
Let me land. Go to
I thought you had landed.
The fisheries minister was in my constituency and attacking me. Oh, they are supposed to revamp the boatyard. The boatyard in the fishing harbour. It's not there.
Okay.
The money is supposed to have been part of the money should be used to repair the boatyard. They are sitting there.
I'm grateful. Hadia, the economy in focus here and the argument about who is a better manager of the economy. For the CPP, how do we go in managing the economy?
You know, the CPP believe in industrialization, as I told you. And then, you know, the agri sector is a sector that a serious party or a serious government must look at seriously. I'm from the north. And then, in fact, anytime I go to Abu Blushi and other places, I feel very bad because of the drift. You know, young women and men wasting in the country. Now, if you look at agriculture, we have land in this country that we can cultivate rice, maize, millet. I saw somewhere in the papers that they were going to produce maize, rice, and so on and so forth. Even we'll get even to export, which is very good. But before you can achieve that, you have to put certain measures in place before. I'm not in Parliament, and in fact, I didn't know the figure, the amount that was given to the agri sector. One point, two ministries to share. So if the agri sector is not getting much resources, how can we achieve all what Felix is saying now? Talking about the shrimps and what have you is good. It's a laudable idea. You can tell me that maybe we want to grow maize, rice, and what have you. I'll say yes, I'm in love with that. But the how is the problem. Because if you are telling the Minister of Agri, the Minister of Agri cannot go and, it's not a magician to conjure maybe figures on to come and boost the economy. You have to give him the necessary support. But if you are saying you are going to grow this, you are going to grow that, and then the ministry is suffering when it comes to budget, how can you convince me that you'll be able to achieve what you are telling me? That is the difficulty. Whatever it is, any political party taking the reins of the country wants to rule the country and make sure the citizens are well taken care of, and then they are happy. Because if the economy is ailing, if we live in an ailing economy, it will affect all of us. You know, the two parties are guilty of that. You know, there was a time when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, when he was a vice president, he put his hand in his pocket to say, do you have money in your pocket now? And I'm sure the MPP did the same thing. So if it comes to issues of national interest, let's look at it without our political lenses. And then we say, oh, maybe Agric. Felix will tell me, Agric last year, this was what we were able to achieve.
There was a revised figure.
And then, you know, if you do that, then you are allowing the citizens to come along with what you are saying. But if you come, we sit on the television, then MPP will say, we did this, and MPP, it is, no, they are lying. This is, you won't get the voter or the one watching us to really understand where you are taking us as a country. Before you came to power, by all means, you showed us your manifesto, what you want to achieve, as I said. But Felix came in to say that, oh, because maybe I don't have the details of their manifesto, maybe that's why I'm speaking this way. But at least you are here. You can tell me, in education, this was what we wanted to achieve, but we were able to achieve 50%, and we are going to do this, as he rightly indicated. But my problem is that we claim we are in a resilient economy, but most of the people in this country cannot make 3 square meals. That is my problem. Okay. People don't have shelter over their head. We said we had, is it 1 million housing deficit? And for the 4 years that you are in power, how many have you been able to reduce? Okay. Then you will tell me, then I'll be happy and say, oh, maybe even though I'm in CPP, but I think what the NDC Deputy Minister is saying, I think I'm buying into it, because when I was going to Bolgatanga or when I was driving to Western Region, I've seen what they are able to do to reduce the housing deficit. All right. And so on. But well,
I think we'll reserve that conversation for another time.
Right. Let me inform
but you know,
12,500.
Because
the topic I wanted us to discuss, because that was what the lady told me, or was it the gentleman? It's about the election of DCs. Because I'm particular about that. You know, when the government set up this constitutional review, they recommended that DC and they should be elected, and the government rejected it.
No, we did not.
No, let me go further. You rejected the recommendation with an explanation. I'm quoting your spokesperson on the campaign. I watched her yesterday. She said they rejected it with an explanation, because the explanation is that they are going to nominate 5 people sent to the
which is what is done.
5 public sector commission,
which is what is done,
and then 3 will be shortlisted, and then, but we are calling for a total vote. Why? Because a DC should be elected by the people, like the way MPs are elected. That is what the CPP is calling for. So if you come, if I say you rejected it, Felix, you should understand me that you
there's a difference between
Felix, a quick one, and then
like guilty with explanation.
No, if you read the white paper, we made it clear that we agree with the recommendation for DCs to be elected, except that we think that a certain procedure should be used. That's not the same as rejecting it. Why? In 2000, the MPP promised it in their manifesto. They didn't do it for 8 years. Okay. Again, the bit about agriculture.
Yes, I want you to, because if you know there's a convention that says at least 10%.
But you see, the claims he is making cannot be accurate when you set it against the facts, the objective reality on the ground. I spoke to you that as we speak, we've just imported 540 tractors for distribution. No. Listen. Yes, but every government. So every government did everything that you came to power to do. No, every government does what every came to power to do. Okay. You are claiming that we give no. You are claiming that we don't invest in agri. I'm showing that we have invested. I see every government. Which government doesn't do anything? I'm saying that you at a point you took agri to negative 1.7, then worst in 20 years. So you have the worst record ever in the 40.
But Felix, do you agree that this Maputo convention, governments have for years not been able to?
It is only a convention. It is a stated objective.
Right.
Check whether they were ever able.
No, I'm not.
I'm saying that
it is not better than yours. That is why we had 7.4.
But you see,
that's what I want him to know.
Why he's saying it's not true? Why he said against the fact? Why? If you go to a Mina today, there is 100 metric ton a day fish processing factory. It costs us $21 million to do, which is more than the money he claims.
We are importing
no. I'm saying that why you came in promising in the year 2000 that you are going to reverse the importation of rice. As I speak to you, we produce 53% of rice.
We're importing more rice than before.
And import 47. When they were in power, we used to import more rice than we produce locally.
$300 million.
No, right. Let me make my point. As I speak to you, but of course, we are peddling falsehood. You don't want me to.
You are deceiving us.
I'm saying that you are peddling falsehood. You are peddling falsehood because you are here distorting the growth rate in
the You are lying to the people.
You say 0.04.
In your time,
you are an MP.
Rice importation is over $300 million.
But let me make my point.
Less than $150 million.
I'm saying that when you were in power, we used to import more rice.
Why should I believe you?
Because we've done better than you. Because you have the worst record. You have the worst record in the history of the Fourth Republic. You are the ones lying. You are the ones lying. You lied that you create jobs. You didn't create it. You lied that you do railways.
Ghanaians are better than
the Ghanaians who didn't have water to drink. The Ghanaians who didn't have electricity. How could they have?
What are we talking about?
Why? If you go to Pram, if you go to Nyanyan, Shama, Sekendi, Takrade, Hafasini, Komanse, we've opened brand new cold stores where fishermen are able to keep their fish when they go to fish. If you go to all the fishing communities, you find that we are distributing outbound motors.
Every government will distribute outbound motors.
Why? How many outbound motors did you distribute?
Every government will distribute outbound motors. Did it reflect in the Did it reflect in more fish?
Alright, in the end, so what are we talking about? Let me tell you what they did.
Every rallies gave outbound motors. Kufuor gave outbound motors. Mills gave outbound motors. So if Mama is giving outbound motors,
so what is that? Why did you go and beg fishermen?
So what is
why did you go and beg fishermen? You now have to beg fishermen.
You see what will happen to you. Corruption in the premix. Corruption in the mix.
You were so corrupt. You went to beg fishermen. You went to beg
the first national vice chair of the
You will see what will happen to you.
Daniel Neat Quartet, that was Global, is a member of parliament for Tema East. Gentlemen and ladies, I'm grateful for your time this morning, Monday morning. We're grateful. Wish you a great day.
Is that how we're going to start?
No, we won't start. I'm sure we'll calm down. Once we get out of here, we'll calm down.